Today's video, we're going to talk about Facebook conversion lead optimization for Facebook lead ads. What this is, and more importantly, why lead ads convert at 3 times that the leads that you get from your lead ads campaign is going to produce for otherwise, okay? So if you don't know what this is, right off the top here, if you run Facebook lead ads where you got basically a form to get the form submissions that you want from your Facebook ad campaign while somebody's still on Facebook, instead of driving them to a landing page, you can actually set up your campaign to optimize for the form submissions via that lead ad, okay? That's been a campaign type for a while, and if you've seen my other content before, you know that'll generally bring in more leads than sending people to a landing page to convert there, because people are more familiar with the Facebook platform, trust it more, and it actually just takes less effort. Not always, but in a great majority of the times nowadays, the lead ad is the better bet. You're going to end up with more leads. That said, the drawback with the form lead ad has been that you can't optimize for higher quality leads that meet a certain requirement. You can naturally create additional form fields that say, like, if you're not rich, don't complete this form. Or basically you could have like, how much money do you have? And then the minimum one, the lowest one is a high amount to start with, so they don't basically feel like they want to fill out this form unless they answered the questions in a certain way that indicate that they have certain traits. But that's still not very good because people lie and they just click whatever they're going to click. Much better is to have a human verify if the leads are good quality, and then use that as a signal for machine learning algorithm that Facebook has to steer your ads in the right direction that's going to actually be able to get you more results over time. That is specifically, though, what Facebook conversion lead optimization is going to do for you through something called Conversion Lead CRM integration. You can actually link your CRM system up with Facebook so that when a lead converts, you could pass that information back to Facebook so that the campaign is going to ever optimize for the leads that are actually converting into sales, or if a sale doesn't normally occur within the first 28 days that you need it to with this system, can actually score the lead, and a lead that scores over a certain amount that you can actually pass that as a so-called converted lead inside the Facebook ad platform in the event manager or through the event manager. And then with that, use that in how Facebook steers your campaign so that you naturally get better lead quality over time. For the most part, the cheapest leads are never the best leads. So if the system's only going to optimize for cheaper leads or more leads at the same cost, if it's more leads at the same cost, you're never going to get higher quality leads. And if you're going to go for cheaper leads, naturally what's going to happen is you're going to get shittier quality leads. Because Facebook's system is predicated on it's an auction system, people that are poor, less people want to go out and advertise to those people. So if you want a cheaper lead and you're telling Facebook this, it's going to go after audiences that are cheaper, that are less in demand, and therefore typically in that scenario, you're going to get a lower quality lead. If you want to get better quality leads, or just want, at the cost per lead you're willing to pay, consistently get higher quality leads there, then you need to be able to feed back the data about what lead is qualified, what is not, because Facebook's not going to know that unless you tell them, basically. If you want higher quality leads, or if your leads aren't of a certain quality where you're making money at, this is the perfect answer for you. That is, switch to lead ads, first of all, if you're not using it, and then going the full rest of the way here and actually scoring your leads, or basically passing information back to Facebook through the system here about whether that person turned into a sale or not, and you're going to get way more results, at least 3 times more profitability from your same level of ad spend, having this going after a minimum amount of time has passed where you've collected some data. 3 to 6 months into the process, you will make that amount of money at least, because there's such, like I said, a big difference between one lead and another lead, and the system does not know how to optimize for certain lead quality if you're not giving that information back to Facebook. And so 6 months from now, if you want to be making 3 times as much money from your same ad spend, you want to get this system hooked up. I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a PPC agency that offers guaranteed results for their clients. That is, what I'm sharing with you on this channel is stuff that we use to guarantee results for our clients, more profitability from your ads before paying a management fee. And that's our signature offer at our PPC management firm. And then with that, I've been running this firm and working directly with clients at our firm for 10 years, and I have 20 years of online marketing experience overall to give you the information I'm sharing with you here in today's video. Not only am I going to go over the traits of what the Facebook conversion lead optimization will do, but also how that works with the rest of your business and how to get the most out of Facebook ads in general. If you stayed at the end of the video, I'm going to give you an actual case study in the fitness space where we use this and what kind of results that we got there as well. So you can understand how, in a general sense, this should work out for you. This works well enough that we're going to try to set it up for every single client that we're working with. If lead quality is any kind of issue, that is, if less than 70% of the leads that we got are closable, we're going to absolutely institute this system. Otherwise, we're just throwing a bunch of money away on an ongoing basis, and we're not going to be able to scale that ad account for them not nearly as far as if we had this system. So this is a fairly new system, so I don't have too much feedback / case studies to share with you here today. Based upon how the machine learning works and how the algorithm finds customers for you, it only makes sense that this is going to work every single time and should work every single time you get this instituted for your business, where your 70% of your leads are not, in your mind, closable. Or even if they are closable, if you want to close at the highest rate possible, you still get it instituted in your business. I drew a diagram of how this basically works. First of all, on an overall basis, so you understand how this is going to be implemented in your own case. So it starts with the Facebook lead ads. You got the Facebook lead ads. Facebook lead ads, obviously, that's going to import information into your CRM, either manually or you can use a software like DriftRock to automatically submit that leads into your CRM. Lead, as it goes into your CRM, starts out as a lead. It's not created as a deal, if you will, or that is, at least if you're using a CRM, using your CRM like most people use it. This salesperson has to get in contact with this lead to identify if it's a potential deal or not. If it does, and it does advance to a deal, then it goes to the deal section of your CRM. That in and itself can then fire data back, or you can wait for it to turn into a sale. That turns and sends information back to the conversion event manager. That conversion event to an event manager inside your Facebook ads account feeds that information back to your Facebook lead ad campaign, which then obviously guides it in a different direction because it has that information. If you don't understand how machine learning works, basically all that's going on is every single time you get a sale through this, or a lead that you know is highly likely to close, and you want leads that are more like that versus other leads that are less likely to close, it looks at the thousands of individual traits that customer that has come through that you give it have. And then when you get a second customer, it looks at the thousands of traits that they have. Because Facebook has a lot of data on their users. They also buy data from third parties to add to the user data they have to get a really good idea of who's buying and who's people that buy through their system, who it is, who it's not. And actually, not only it uses individual customer advertiser data to push other advertisers' ads. So if you're a plumber and you have a plumbing campaign that you're running, sees another plumber come through, it's going to use data from your campaign to power that campaign as well, to some regard, which it can't all the way because everybody has a different customer, a different sales process, and so forth. But with that said, it looks at the traits of each customer coming in and it sees what traits most commonly align. That is, user has a high income, they're from this part of the city, they visited this website before, because if a Facebook tag is on a different website, it knows that a person that they know is a Facebook user, what websites they visited. They also buy data from other third parties. An app that may track women's menstrual cycles, they can buy data from that. That is, if the user uses their email address on that app, they're going to compare it to the email address of Facebook's users, find the match, and then they basically know that user's menstrual cycle. And it crunches all this data, and eventually Facebook gets a really, really, really good idea of who your customer is if you're feeding in the customer data, because after you've got like 1,000 customers or leads that you've marked as good quality leads, it understands that if a person has this trait, and this trait here, they're 1,000 times more likely to be a customer. That's all it really takes for your advertising that was supposed to go out to your entire city to get in front of people that are likely enough to buy, that your ads can be profitable. And you can start out with a campaign that isn't profitable, that's getting you a 50% return on investment, or ROAS, as they call it in the ad industry, and walk that all the way up to 1,000% ROAS simply by feeding in the first 100 plus customers that you need into the system for the algorithm and machine learning process that Facebook has can actually work from. So to do this, you need to set up the Conversion Lead CRM integration before you can go ahead and do this. Once you go under the optimization settings in that lead ad campaign, you'll see an option there that says converted leads, okay? you can select that. Now your campaign's set up to optimize for converted leads that have converted into a lead that was qualified, like I was saying you could do before, or to optimize for purchases. Naturally, if 80% of people purchase within the first 30 days of becoming a lead or submitting your lead form, you're going to want to have the system optimized for purchases. If less than that convert within the first 28 days, you want to optimize for leads that are marked qualified, because the system's going to get you a better outcome optimizing for qualified leads in that case than it would with purchases, because too many of the purchases occur later on and the system just won't be able to do its job as well. Facebook actually recommends that you have at least 250 conversions a month before you use this. I beg to differ. If you have 30 conversions a month, you should be using this. I know, because we actually did this already. So don't necessarily go by, because Facebook will say, don't do it if this, and this, and this. That amount of conversion data, you should already be using this. Particularly because, and they're saying 250 customers per month or conversions per month, because that 30 conversions 1 month can be added to the 30 conversions the month before, and then the 30 conversions the month before, and then eventually it's going to amass the amount of data that it needs. And already at 30 customers, it'll already know quite a bit about who's your customer versus who's not in the target audience that you have, okay? It can take just by looking at 30 of your customers, I can identify fairly well on a list of 500,000 people that you were targeting, the 10,000 that should really be spending most of your money in already at that point in time. You're going to set up the campaign then once this is in place. Once your Conversion Lead CRM integration is set up that lead ads campaign to optimize for conversions. And then what you're going to see is slowly over time, the lead quality get better if that's what you're going for, or your campaign to scale. In addition to lead quality getting better, it's going to get you more sales at the ROI that you want, because it's going to understand more where it can bid higher per impression, where your ad's going to beat other advertisers for a certain eyeball by physically paying more for that eyeball, where that per eyeball is more likely to convert into a customer than another person, if that makes sense. Part of how you make more money when you have actual revenue tracking powering your campaign is just understanding where really sought after eyeballs are at, really expensive ones, are worth that money, versus just understanding where your ad should be narrowed down to in the first place. So it's something to consider. And we did this for a fitness training service, so a local personal trainer who did personal training and coaching and consulting with an individual. Also, they have group meetings and so forth, training. So it was like a fitness program, and it was a local business, if you want to call a multi-city business in the same state, if you will. And we switched, lead ads were working great. We were getting a lead cost of about $30 before we even able to turn this on, and been running the campaign for a year plus prior to this. Recently, this feature came out. We did the Conversion Lead CRM integration and was able to keep going with the campaign. Now, our lead cost went down a little bit. Went down a little under $30, as you can expect once you've turned this on, once we got about 6 months into the campaign already. However, closing rate on the leads went quite a bit up. We're talking double where they started out with before we had this new Facebook Conversion Lead Optimization system set up for our lead ad campaigns. And with that doubling of closing rates, what did that do? That allowed us to now pay $60 a lead and still get the ROI that we wanted, because we were actually at the ROI we wanted prior before this, but this allowed us to pay $60 a conversion. $60 a conversion allowed us to scale the campaign a lot more than we could otherwise and get in front of people that weren't affordable, because we weren't able to get a $30 cost per conversion. At the end of the day, with that, we were able to spend a lot more money on ads and still get leads at affordable cost that allowed us to make 3 times as much money from our overall local market, because we were able to run our ads much more aggressively in the local market once we understood where it was worth paying $60 a lead, where it was worth paying even $90 or $120 a lead, and where it was not even worth paying $10 a lead. You will only get so far with your account, in other words, like with the case study that I'm giving you here, by just optimizing for the lowest cost per lead, or understanding that you can only pay X amount per lead. Because there's a huge difference in one lead over another in terms of the likelihood to turn into a closed job or sale. Huge difference. You will scale typically 3 times more with your ad campaign, if you're profitable already, at least 3 times more if you're optimizing for on the profit/ROI level versus the cost per lead level. If you're just starting out, you should just optimize for form fills, but you're gonna fairly quickly hit a plateau with how much you can scale the ads or just not hit profitability. And that's the time when you're gonna have to switch over to optimizing for converted leads. And what you should basically do, the sooner you set up the Facebook Conversion Lead Optimization system for your business and the Conversion Lead CRM integration for your account, the better, because you can start collecting that data up front. And then at a certain point, you've gotten to where you've had 100 form leads submitted and you've got 30 sales already, let's say, then you can switch over to optimizing for sales instead of form submissions. You will typically make more money sooner when you optimize for stuff that will allow you to build data. Like for instance, a lot of people I've heard before say, which is true, that you'll get better results optimizing for link clicks than you will optimizing for leads. And that is true because you're gonna get link click data a lot quicker than the form lead conversion data. But at a certain point, it will pay to switch to have the campaign optimized for conversions. And obviously you have to set up a new campaign to do this. But so what you do to have the best return on investment of your ad spend as you can at any given time, you're going to track micro conversions, macro conversions. You're going to track people filling out the form, people that are qualified as a form lead and likely to convert, and sales. And you'll start by optimizing for, of course, just the form submissions or even link clicks by itself, depending on your situation. Then form submissions, then qualified form submissions, then sales. And as you get to where you've built up at least 30 conversions of each one of those individual 3 different lead types, if you will switch to the one further down the road because machine learning doesn't do very good with small numbers. But what I found is basically once you get over at least 30 conversions of a certain type, you're better off switching to optimize and use, let's say, 30 qualified leads versus 100 leads in general. And with that matter, you'd be better off having the system look at 30 purchases than 300 form submissions by itself. That makes sense of what I'm trying to explain to you. So in other words, 30 conversions is kind of like the minimum cutoff where you should be using that if that thing that you're optimizing for is more closely correlated with something that's going to generate you profit than something else. Actual purchases is a lot more highly correlated with your profitability than is a converted lead, and a converted lead's more highly, still more highly correlated with, additional profits or profit in general in your business than form leads are as a whole. I call it like a cascading waterfall effect where form leads allow you to get qualified leads. If you get enough, those allow you to get sales, and you're going to then optimize for form leads to get enough converted leads. When optimizing for those, get enough purchases to eventually optimize for those. So that's what I recommend you do right from the start, starting out your campaign. And with that, you're going to continue. First of all, you'll scale that campaign faster overall. You'll get to profitability sooner, but it'll allow you to scale as quickly overall more that way. So it'll allow you to get results faster in the beginning, but it'll also still allow you to get a lot more overall results. But you had your long-term plan in place and started working towards that while you were working on your short-term plan. Anyway, the Conversion Lead CRM integration will take a developer to get that set up. It's not the easiest, but if you just get an analytics firm to set this up for you, or you have a programmer that looks at the documentation, they could get it done in several hours or an afternoon. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So now, no longer is there any, drawback to using Facebook lead ads anymore to track leads, to refine your campaigns in case you were getting leads. You could fix that with the system that I just shared with you. It's no longer a drawback. And whereas before, where we had quality leads, we had to abandon form lead ads to send people to a landing page so we could use the offline conversion tracking process. So the algorithm could actually start getting us higher quality leads and leads that we would actually want, and to stop having to have so many salespeople to close the same amount of jobs, if you will, because that's obviously another expense. They have to talk to 10 leads to get one that's qualified to speak to. If you want someone that knows how to set this up, obviously we can do it for you. We've done this already. We understand it backwards and forwards. You can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you about it. We also guarantee results on ad campaigns, of course, like I was saying before, where we can give you an estimate of additional profitability we can get for your ad account and your spend or a new campaign that you want to set up, and we'll take our fee once we hit that minimum benchmark for you, which the idea is that you make more profit than our fee is before you have to pay our fee. We don't take on just any client, but if you're somebody that we know we want to work with, we can make you an offer like that up front. We're the only agency out there that offers any kind of a guarantee like that, by the way, which should tell you about the quality of the information I'm sharing with you here on this channel. Beyond that, we also sell ad templates, by the way. And if we worked in your niche market before, you can not only just have us work on your stuff, but give you, if you want to work on your own stuff, the ads, the landing pages, all of it that work for your niche market, and just copy paste those into your account and save yourself tons of money and time to figure out how to get the results we got in your market already. So there's that. Of course, if you have any questions, if you have a one-off question about this, you weren't sure about something, thought that I should cover it and didn't, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel. Usually within 24 hours time, I can get back to you. With that said, I will say that getting results on your Facebook account campaign / if you're running ads at Google or in other places, I can't stress this enough. Most of the time you have to run your campaigns at a loss for a while until you collected enough data for the algorithm to get you the customers you want. There's going to be 20% of what you do is going to be generating you a profit, and you got to find the 20%. Very rarely will we run a campaign and it's instantly profitable. And you make that investment, and don't fall into the trap of just thinking it's going to work and you don't have to have these good tracking systems set up, because most of the time you need it to actually make money and then furthermore scale. So this stuff is tedious to set up at the beginning, but it's worth it. And at least if it's not profitable after a couple months of running your ads, you threw $15,000 at it, let's say, it wasn't all for nothing. You collected the data that will at least tell you how to spend the next $5,000 twice as productively as the previous $5,000 was spent. And that's, generally speaking, the people that really make millions of dollars running their ads, that's what they know, that's what they do. Okay? And then at that point in time, they use the data to tell them what works, and then, through a combination of that and just trying to figure out how to make a better ad that gets a higher click-through rate, they're able to get to make money. And they, in their mind, they don't care that it takes 6 months for it to work, because once it works, they're going to run it for the next 5 years. So that literally was just a tiny drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things. And that's how you got to think about running your ads if you're going to actually be successful online, because that's generally what it takes. If you want to know the other techniques, by the way, about how to run ads, the rest of this, obviously tracking is just one component. You should subscribe to this channel, by the way, because the information I'm sharing on this channel is coming from somebody, like I said, with 20 years of experience that spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing and strategy and work directly on my clients' campaigns. And we have dozens of accounts that we're responsible for to give you the information on this channel. The information that you mostly see elsewhere on YouTube is given to you by people who are trying to sell you a course, who don't run any ads, or they run a couple ads, they don't really know what's going on. I know, because I'm in the space and I know how to, these other people, how foolish they are. So if you're going to pay attention to anything and you want to make millions of dollars a year running ads for your business, you want to subscribe to this channel at least. You also should check out my blog that I have at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has actual step-by-step instructions / advice on how to make money running ads that we use to guarantee results for our clients and that are our go-tos. You should check that out as well. If you like the channel, you're going to like the blog as well. So with that said, that gives you an idea of how profitable this was. The fitness trainer that we had on a localized basis, what we were able to do with his stuff. The trainer's still getting an 800% ROAS on his ad spend, advertising stuff that, in terms of the result, company that was getting, this fitness training company was getting, and advertising that, and advertising on a broad basis, and then using the actual conversion data about who's submitting the form, and then furthermore, who's converting later on to make even more money from it, to where we were making a 500% ROAS at the very beginning. It went up eventually over to 800%, and we were making way more sales. Volume went way up in general once we started adding, and when we added in the Conversion Lead CRM integration, so that we could get the sales data back into the account, use that to optimize. Not just, and by the way, in that case, it wasn't just whether the lead was qualified or not, but whether it turned into a sale or not, because in that space we were able to do that. In a lot of cases, you're just going to have, just optimizing for high quality leads and scoring that lead between 1 and 10. And if it's scored at least at a 7 out of 10, you use that to, or even a 5 out of 10, you use that to then power your campaign here. You'll do much, much better. You'll still easily triple the amount of money you can make overall. You're going to have a higher ROI because you're going to be wasting less money, and you're going to scale way, way more because it's going to be able to get every last customer in your market because it's going to know just where to get them. You should do this for yourself as well. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching. See you later.
Remember when I said Facebook lead ADs was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.